here in Brookhaven. For those who don't know, there are several cars that I can grab on the right. We have small cars and also giant cars, like this one. But today, I want to test with you the smallest cars in the entire game. And I want to be able to get cars even smaller than this one, and I'm going to try several ways to do that. So for that, I called my friend who's going to help me do it. He said, this is the only mini car I know. But you can see that this car is really small, and it's one of the smallest cars in Brookhaven. But there's a way to get even smaller cars. And this one right here is the biggest car of them all. So for that, I took this car, but I noticed there's a secret button that I don't know what it does. So I'm going to press it here, and now you can see this secret thing. It has several secret versions that I'm sure you've never seen before, and they're really interesting. He said, why is this here? I don't know either, but it's really weird. And now I'm coming over here to the front, because I want to get mini cars here in the game. So for that, I came here to pick up my friend. But guys, my friend has a castle, and actually, it looks like he's really scared. He said, there's a ghost over there. But I'm looking here, and it really looks like there's a ghost here watching us in Roblox, and it's really weird. But now it hid, and I have to find out who this player is and why he's chasing my friend. But he's behind this tree, and actually, he already left. But my friend just came here to help me, and he said, let's test the mini cars. That's more important. And what he said is true. It really is more important, but this ghost is really weird, and I'm sure that if we don't solve this, my friend won't want to leave here and will stay in his house, just watching to see if the ghost will come back or not. But actually, the ghost is behind him, and he didn't notice that. But now he noticed it, and I don't know what's going to happen. The ghost is coming here, and my friend teleported, and he's running here behind us, apparently for us to save him. And he just came here. He said, the ghost is in my house. If you help me, I'll test the myths with you. Look, the myths I want to test today are simply mini cars in Brookhaven. And I want to test that now, especially because there are a lot of them. My friend said, are there 3 ways to get them? What's the first way? Look, the first way is the easiest of all, but the harder the method is, the better, because there will be amazing cars. Here on the right, I'll have to search for car, but I'm going to search specifically for Lamborghini, and a bunch of interesting cars will show up. And if I get this one, you can see that they're really beautiful and also mini cars. But obviously, there's a way to make this better, especially because this car is too big, and I have to make this really small, and my character can't show up in this car. But this ghost is watching us, and he's really weird. Now he left, and just disappeared. And every time he disappears in Brookhaven, he vanishes from the place he was in. And now I'm going to have to use a really small avatar, and I'm going to resize my character and grab any car from the right. And you can see this is almost perfect. He said, it looks horrible, but my friend is teasing me, and just ran out of here, because he got scared of the avatar I'm making, and just left. But I'm going to make this better. My friend said he went to the restaurant. Look, that makes sense. Actually, he used that as an excuse to go to the restaurant just to eat. And this friend of mine is really weird. But guys, there's a problem. The ghost is showing up right here, and it's walking down the street. But my friend just noticed it, and he's coming out here. And I don't know what my friend is going to do. Now he's going after the ghost, holding this axe in Roblox. And the ghost just noticed that, and he's running too. And this is really weird. The ghost is running away from my friend because he's really scared. But now he's coming up here in the front, and it looks like he's going into this house. But there's a problem. I can't lose sight of him, otherwise he'll disappear. And my friend is coming here, but he already vanished. And he already left this place. But even he got scared, and I don't understand where this player went. And it's really weird. But actually, he's walking by right here in front, and I'm going to let the 2 of them keep fighting. But in the meantime, I want to test how to get a small car in Brookhaven, and I'm going to test 3 ways that are just perfect. But now, I'm going to carry my friend in Roblox, especially because I have to come up here on the roads of Brookhaven. He said, hey, it looks like I'm driving the car. And that's true. When he's up here, it looks like he's driving the car, which is really interesting. But now I dropped him, especially because I'm going to have to shrink my avatar and find a better car. And I found some really interesting cars, like this one right here. But to make it look like a real car, I'll have to change my Roblox avatar, and I'm just going to use an invisible avatar. And now I'm invisible, and players can't see me. He said, where are you? Look, I'm actually right behind you. And he just didn't notice that. He's trying to figure out where I am, but that's going to be impossible. And now, I'm going to grab a car from the right, literally any car. And now it looks like this car is driving in the game. He said, wow, it really looks like a car. And it really does, but this one is super small. Now I'm going to carry my friend, and you can see that he's flying, but I can also grab other cars on the right, like this one right here. And it really looks like this is a small car. He said, it's a mini car. And what's the next way to get these mini cars? Look, there are 2 other ways. But guys, you can see that this car looks really different, and my friend just shrunk his avatar, and he shrunk it because this car is his size, and he can get in the car to drive it in Roblox. But there's a problem. He keeps floating, and I don't know how I'm going to fix that. Maybe I can shrink the avatar from the right, and I'll become even smaller, and that way if I carry him in Roblox, he still keeps floating in the air. I don't know how to fix that. Actually, I think it's impossible. He said, the ghost is back, but I'm looking back here, and it looks like like the ghost really came back over there, and he's just watching us. But guys, this time he grabbed these binoculars because it looks like he's impressed with what we did. But I'm going after him, especially because he's following my friend. So I'm coming after him, but there's a problem. I'm really slow. And even though I'm a mini car, I'm actually really slow. But I'm going to test a way to make this even better and really get a mini car that actually works. But first, I'm coming after this player because what he did is unforgivable. But it looks like he's running up here and he's going to come up here. But this friend of mine just got here and he's coming up front, and now he grabbed an axe so that this player finally stops. But now he's arriving right here, and this is going to be the end of him because I'm coming in with this tank, and this is literally a tank. It's not the best tank ever, but it's definitely a really cool tank. And that friend of mine is also coming here because he's going to drive this tank, but it's impossible for him to leave because he can't just leave at any moment. But that friend of mine also grabbed a tank, but then he removed his tank and picked another one, and this one is really weird, especially because the tank sits on his head. Now he grabbed another car. But guys, this player really can't leave here, and he said, take off the mask and reveal who you are. Look, I doubt he's going to do that, but I'm going to return my avatar to normal because I'm going to test another way to get small cars in Brookhaven. And actually, I'm going to test 2 more ways, but I want to see if the player is going to remove the mask he's wearing. But he just disappeared, and that's really weird. He disappeared from here, and unfortunately we couldn't find out who this player is. But that friend of mine came here, and he said, why are you small? Look, suddenly my friend is small. But now I'm going to test another way to get small cars in the game. And here on the right, I'm going to have to grab the bike. But first, I'll have to shrink my avatar, and I'm going to grab this bike and also click the avatar button at the same time. Perfect, I just did that, and you can see that I have this bike, but I'm also in the Roblox avatar menu. And now, if I grow my character like this, you can see that this bike became super small. It turned tiny, and even my friends are seeing this, and I'm sure they can't believe it, especially since that friend of mine is seeing it. And he said, this is unbelievable, and it really is super weird. But guys, that friend of mine also came here, and I think he's doing it too. Now he just shrunk his avatar, and even I want to see which car he's going to get. And apparently, he grabbed this bike, and now he grew his character, and you can see that the bike turned really small. And that's really weird. But that friend of mine came here too and shrunk his avatar, and now he needs to grab a different bike. I said, grab a skateboard, especially because we both grab bikes, and he needs to get a different vehicle, and he's going to grab the skateboard, and that's really good. And now you can see how the skateboard looks here, but the skateboard is really small, and this is the smallest skateboard ever. And everyone is acting super weird because we are giant people on tiny vehicles, especially since this bike is small. But it looks like my friend left, maybe to have lunch in Roblox. But this other friend of mine is looking at me, and he said, hey, what if we do the weird walking glitch? And guys, that's genius. So I'm going to have to go to my house and basically press this button on the couch so I end up like this. And now, my friend came here too because he also wants to do the glitch. And I'm going to give him permission, and now he's sitting there, and I'm going to have to delete my house on the right so he can do the glitch. And now, you can see that we're walking in a really weird way, but if I grab a bike on the right, it looks super strange, and if I shrink my Roblox avatar, it looks even weirder. And also, if I do the opposite, you can see the bike is really small, and I'm huge. This glitch is really interesting. But he said, now where's the small car? The smallest car of all. So, I'm going to test it now, and for that, I'm using Roblox Studio, and I placed this car right here, which is really small, and it's the smallest car ever. But now I just grabbed this other car, which is also really small. This car looks a lot like that Roblox car. They're just very similar. Actually, they're the same. But my friend is staring at me, and he said, why are you on the ground? And that's true. I'm on the ground, and it's really weird. I don't know what happened, but part of my foot is under the ground, which doesn't make sense. But he just jumped here, and now he's the same way. And he's inside the ground in Brookhaven for some reason I don't know. But if I get in this car and then get out, I still haven't gone back to normal, which is really weird. He said, keep getting more small cars. I'm going to figure out how to fix this bug. Okay, while he's fixing this bug where he's really small, actually, he already fixed it. I'm going to get more small cars in the game. But the best part is that I can grab this car and shrink it, or even make it bigger, turning it into the biggest car ever. But I don't want to do that. I actually want to get lots of small cars, because I want to test them all. And you can see that this car is really small, but I don't want this one. I only want the smallest cars of all. But this van is really small, and I can make it even smaller. So I grabbed 2 here, and one is giant, and the other is really small. And you can see that the small one is bugging, and it's really weird. It's like when the car is too small, it just doesn't work well. And now I'm driving this car, and you can see it's a really strange car, because there's a computer inside, and also a bed. But now I'm driving this other car, which is incredibly fast, and it also looks like it's going to flip over, because the way it turns really feels like it's going to flip. He said, now grab a giant car, just to see the difference. I'm going to do that, but I just want to understand why I'm so small, and maybe just by resizing my Roblox avatar, I went back to normal, and I'm not stuck inside the ground like I was before, but I'm going to get giant cars. But my friend grabbed his car, car, and he wants to carry me in Roblox, and now he's coming up front with one of the smallest cars in the game. But actually, this is the smallest car in Brookhaven, especially because it's super low. And now I'm carrying my friend, and I'm coming up front, but I'm going to get a simply giant car. Perfect, I just grabbed this car, but this one is really weird because it used to be a really cool car that turned into a monster truck. But I'm coming over here to test it, and my friend said, I want to test too. I'm going to join your game. And guys, it looks like he left to join my Roblox game. So I'm going to try to finish my game to test together with him. Perfect, I'm in my Roblox game now, and my friend joined too, but he just noticed there are giant cars, which is totally the opposite of what I was doing. And he said, where are the small cars? Look, they're actually back here. And you can see that there are several interesting cars here, but I want to see which one is the first car he's going to test. And my friend is coming up front to test this car because it really caught his attention, and he's driving it, and this is the smallest car of all, but it looks like he can't drive it, so I'm going to have to drive it because I'm sure I can do it, or maybe not, since it's kind of hard. And this car is just broken, so I'm coming here to get another small car, but the difference is that this one is better because it actually works. And now my friend just got here, and he's trying to get into the car, but he can't. And after many tries, he's finally inside, messing with this computer. And now I'm finally coming up front, and this car is actually pretty fast, and I'm speeding up as much as I can to test the top speed of this car, and I also want to reach the next cars. So I'm coming up front, and this car should be in the game because it's really cool, but I didn't understand why it suddenly started flying. But now I'm arriving up here, and he said, where are the other small cars? And the other cars, I'm arriving here to test them, and the cars are right here in the front. But guys, there are several cars up here, and I grabbed 12 cars to test this in Roblox. And you can see they're really interesting, especially because they look really nice. But my friend grabbed this car, and now I'm driving it, and this is the smallest car of all. You can see this is really weird, but my friend is running up here, and I think he wants to grab this giant car. But this is a really important test, because I want to see the difference between the biggest car versus the smallest car of all. But guys, he's arriving right here, and you can see that his car is giant, so much that he got here and just drove right over my car easily, which is really interesting. And now he ran back over there, and this car is super fast. It's the fastest car of all. But now my friend is going up ahead to drive around the map, and I don't know what he's doing, but I know it's weird. So I'm removing this car, because I need to pick up more players who are joining the game. Now I'm running over here, and I'm going to have to pick them all up at the start of the game. And you can see they're right here, ready to test this Roblox game. And now, the player is back here, and I'm bringing them up front because I want to do a mini car race. And everyone is grabbing a car. Perfect, the race started, and now I'm winning against the players. But one player ran past here, and I don't know how he beat me, but he just won the race. And now the other players are coming up here. And perfect, another race started, and I'm just winning. And the players are running over here, basically flying in the game, and the race literally glitched. And guys, if you want to add me on Roblox, just click the Become a Member button. I'll add you here on Roblox.